Imagine an apocalyptic machine so massive and unstable, even its own creators were terrified to turn it on.
These are the top 10 most insane, overly ambitious military mega projects completely abandoned during the Cold War.
Number 10. A massive flying nuclear reactor that defied logic.
1955, Fort Worth, Texas. The American military successfully strapped a live nuclear reactor inside a giant heavy bomber.
The crew sat nervously behind an 11-ton lead and rubber shield, terrified of devastating radiation leaks.
Armed paratroopers shadowed the aircraft in separate planes, ready to secure the radioactive wreckage if it ever crashed.
The fatal flaw was obvious. A simple mechanical failure would instantly turn the bomber into a catastrophic dirty bomb.
Intercontinental ballistic missiles eventually made the highly dangerous aircraft obsolete. The ambitious project was completely eliminated.
The bomber was scrapped, and the glowing reactor was quietly buried deep beneath the earth.
The skies were finally safe. But deep beneath the Arctic ice, an even larger, colder nightmare was hiding.
Number 9. A secret nuclear city buried under the ice.
1959, Greenland. The military attempted to carve a massive, subterranean nuclear launch network directly into the freezing glacier.
The psychological pressure was immense. The crushing, constantly shifting weight of the ice threatened to overwhelm the entire facility. Mother Nature refused to be conquered. The massive glacier moved much faster than anticipated, slowly crushing the vital infrastructure. Facing inevitable structural collapse, the unbelievable mega project was officially vanquished and completely abandoned in the dark. The military retreated, leaving behind miles of tunnels and dangerous radioactive materials permanently sealed under the frozen wasteland.
Global warming is now slowly melting the ice, threatening to expose this terrifying Cold War secret.
While America battled the unforgiving ice, the Soviet Union engineered a colossal mechanical beast on the open water.
Number 8. A Soviet Leviathan. 1966, the Caspian Sea.
The monstrous craft struggled heavily in unpredictable weather, making the experimental design tactically impossible to control.
Ultimately, the gargantuan Soviet Leviathan was completely abandoned, to rust silently on a desolate shore.
While giant machines rusted away, British engineers devised an incredibly bizarre and dangerous nuclear trap.
Number 7. A devastating nuclear landmine powered by chickens.
1954, West Germany. The British military secretly placed massive nuclear mines beneath the frozen ground.
If enemy forces advanced, these 10-ton weapons would detonate, completely neutralizing the entire strategic region.
But the freezing winter temperatures threatened to desperately freeze the delicate electronic detonators before activation. Their unbelievable solution was to trap live chickens inside the dark casing to generate body heat.
The frantic project was eventually cancelled because the catastrophic radioactive fallout was deemed too dangerous.
Buried nukes were scary enough, but the next superpower weapon was literally aiming for the stars.
Number 6. A devastating weapon dropped directly from space.
1955, low Earth orbit. The United States designed massive tungsten rods to be dropped from satellites.
Striking the Earth at meteoric speeds, these solid pillars would unleash the devastating force of a nuclear bomb.
Traditional bunkers would be instantly eliminated without any radioactive fallout, giving the attacker a perfect strategic advantage. The psychological terror was absolute. Subscribe to War Cinema 4K now, before the next weapon strikes.
Ultimately, launching heavy tungsten rods into orbit proved impossibly expensive, bankrupting the apocalyptic mega project.
The orbital rods were vanquished, but the military still wanted to project overwhelming power across the entire solar system.
Number 5. Knucking the Moon. Wait for number 1.
1958, New Mexico. The United States Air Force drafted a top-secret proposal to detonate a nuclear warhead on the moon.
The goal was to show absolute dominance. But scientists soon realized a catastrophic miscalculation.
A launch failure could inadvertently drop a live nuclear weapon back onto friendly territory, creating an unimaginable disaster.
The insane operation was quietly eliminated from military budgets, keeping the lunar surface completely untouched by atomic fire.
The ambitious files were locked away in absolute secrecy, denying the existence of the dangerous lunar experiment forever. While the lunar bomb was vanquished, another team of brilliant engineers planned to conquer the stars using sheer explosive force.
Number 4. Riding nuclear explosions into deep space.
1958, California. Scientists designed a colossal spacecraft propelled entirely by detonating atomic weapons directly behind its armored hull.
Thousands of small nuclear charges would violently explode against a massive steel pusher plate to thrust the ship forward. It sounded completely insane, but it was scientifically possible, promising to safely transport human crews to Mars in weeks.
However, the terrifying reality of launching a flying radioactive factory through the atmosphere caused massive political panic.
Orion was eliminated. But while America looked up, the Soviets were digging down to build something much darker. Number 3. A classified nuclear submarine lair hidden inside solid rock.
1957, Balaclava, Soviet Union. The military carved a massive, indestructible naval base directly into the heart of a mountain.
The subterranean canals were designed to completely protect an entire fleet of nuclear-armed submarines from direct atomic bombardment.
Behind impenetrable blast doors weighing over 100 tons, thousands of essential personnel could survive sealed underground for years. The sheer scale of the engineering was overwhelming, secretly hollowing out an entire mountain peak without enemy satellites noticing.
Tense guards silently patrolled the dark, echoing concrete docks, endlessly preparing for the ultimate global conflict.
If the Cold War escalated, lethal submarines would emerge from the hidden shadows, carrying devastating tactical payloads.
But as the Soviet Union eventually collapsed, maintaining the colossal fortress became a massive, entirely unsustainable financial burden. The base was stripped bare and completely abandoned, leaving behind flooded tunnels and empty, echoing concrete chambers.
The mountain fortress was silenced. But deep in the freezing forest, an enormous steel grid began broadcasting a terrifying signal.
Number 2. A massive mind control grid. Wait for number 1.
1976, Chernobyl, Soviet Union. Engineers constructed a colossal, over-the-horizon radar system that dominated the frozen skyline.
The gargantuan steel structure was designed to detect incoming ballistic missiles from thousands of miles away.
But when activated, the mega project broadcasted a terrifying, sharp tapping noise across global radio frequencies.
Civilians and international pilots were completely overwhelmed by the mysterious, relentless interference known as the Russian woodpecker.
Widespread paranoia sparked wild theories that the Soviets were using the signal for atmospheric weather manipulation. The devastating Chernobyl disaster finally forced the military to completely abandon the colossal, highly expensive array.
The massive iron beast was vanquished by radiation, left to rust quietly in the radioactive exclusion zone. We survived the nuclear winter. But the final abandoned mega project. Number 1. The ultimate, unstoppable airborne doomsday machine.
1957, Nevada test site. The military engineered an unshielded nuclear reactor designed to fly endlessly at supersonic speeds.
It wasn't just dropping payloads. The deafening sonic boom alone would completely flatten structures across enemy territory.
Flying at treetop level, the unshielded engine would spew a continuous, devastating wake of highly radioactive fallout.
After exhausting its primary weapons, the radioactive Leviathan was programmed to circle the globe, endlessly poisoning the Earth.
It was the perfect doomsday device, but officials soon realized it guaranteed absolute, mutual destruction for everyone.
The horrifying project was officially canceled. Building a machine that couldn't be safely turned off was sheer madness. The ultimate sci-fi nightmare was permanently locked away in the desert, leaving behind a chilling historical legacy.
But these abandoned mega-projects force us to ask a deeply unsettling question about modern military innovation.
If they built these unbelievable weapons 60 years ago, what exactly are they secretly building right now?
Project Pluto was merely the terrifying pinnacle of a global, paranoid obsession with ultimate destruction.
The Cold War was fundamentally a silent, psychological conflict, fought entirely in the shadows of human imagination.
It was the overwhelming paranoia that convinced brilliant minds to engineer absolute global annihilation.
Today, these classified blueprints serve as a chilling reminder of how incredibly close we came to the edge. The horrifying machines were completely dismantled, but the deep psychological scars of the era permanently remain. We survived the 20th century. But the dark evolution of tactical, covert warfare never actually stops. As we face tomorrow, the greatest sci-fi weapons are likely already quietly orbiting above us right now. Don't get left behind when the next siren wails. Subscribe to War Cinema 4K now.